Hey everybody, it's Professor Nixon, and we're going over last week's assignments and this week's assignments real quick. Alright, so first I want to start off with the announcements. Make sure that you're ordering your textbook for your next class, and I'll do a separate video on how to find your next class and how to go on to the bookstore and place your order if you have never done that before. I have also posted some videos on how to write your discussion post in Word, conduct a spelling check, or spelling grammar check, and copy and paste that into your discussion thread. So I encourage you to watch that. Alright, so for week 2, you had your discussion questions, and the one thing I will say about that is I want you guys to start really reading the discussion question and what it's asking you, because many of you did not. For week 2, they're asking Chapter 10 discusses infection control and its importance. In your own words, what is the importance of infection control and the healthcare arena? And then list at least one way that you can help break each element in the chain of infection. So, what they were asking you to do here is to identify each link within the chain of infection, and then at least one way of breaking that link. Many of you just provided hand washing, and I pointed out in the Kaiser Live session last week that hand washing is an effective way to practice infection control, but it's not the only way. So what they wanted you to do is not what I received. So I tried to redirect most of you, and you did go back and look at figure 10-4 on page 229, and it shows you the illustration with each link, as well as out to the side of each link, several ways of breaking those links. So make sure that you look at that. So make sure that you're reading the question and knowing what they're asking. If you have any confusion, please contact me so that we can talk about that. Make sure that you're reading my posts and responding to them, because I'm trying to get you back on track so that you don't lose unnecessary points. And I'm not posting this for me. I have this knowledge. I'm posting this for you so that you can do better and not lose the points that you need to pass the class and learn the information that's needed for your knowledge. Spelling and grammar continue to be an issue that you're losing unnecessary points on. And again, if you are if you view that video that I posted in the announcement section about how to write your discussion post in a Word document, conduct a spelling grammar check, then you copy the writing from the Word document and paste it into your discussion thread, then you will have that. Make sure that your posts for discussions are at least 100 words in length. And then I've had a few people who were posting on Monday after the due date. I accepted them this week. However, next week I will not accept any late posts, so they will not be counted towards your minimum posts, and they will not be counted toward the grades for the other sections as well. So everything is due on Sundays at 11:59, so make sure that you're going to be able to get them in by then. If not, you need to contact me. Let me know what the issue is so that we can talk about it and discuss what the plan of action is, or if you can submit it late. But if you do not do that prior to the due date, then you will be considered late. Alright, then the second response, a lot of you had no problem with this. You were right on track, and if you weren't, then I replied, you read it, you responded to my post, and everything was good. Okay, go back to week 2. Then you had your week 2 assignment. This was the preparation assignment to get you ready for the OSHA assignment that comes up here in week 3. You could take this assignment as many times as you like until you had a score that you were happy with. Some of you did not do it. I've emailed you to find out why. Others have done well. So that was done. And then the quiz. A lot of you are forgetting to do your quiz, and I don't know why. They are due every week by Sunday at 11:59. So make sure that you're doing them. Then the last assignment that you had this week was to submit your week 1 assignment, which you've been working on, or should have been working on, since week 1. That you submitted it to the OWL. You forwarded the email from the OWL with their suggested changes to me, so that I can see, number 1, that you submitted it to the OWL, and then I can see what their suggested changes are and whether you incorporated those into your final draft or not. One of the problems with the paper was that you were supposed to identify a problem, gather information on that problem. So if say your problem was time management, you have problems with managing your time, you should be looking at books that address time management, articles that address time management, maybe a social group that's out there that find out how they've dealt with time management, all of these things to gather information. And then once you've gathered that information, then you create a list of alternatives, whether they're feasible or not feasible. You just create a whole list. And then you go through and weed out the ones that are not doable. And then you choose from the ones that are feasible to act upon. And then you choose your alternative and act upon it. Again, if you have a plan and you don't act on that plan, it's just that, a plan. You haven't done anything with it. So you needed to tell me what alternative you chose and what you plan on doing. Many of you submitted to the OWL and received the email back from them with their suggested changes, but you did not incorporate those changes. The whole purpose of this was to introduce you to what the OWL is, Online Writing Lab, for them to review your paper, to make suggestions to make your paper better, and to teach you how to write a formal paper. But many of you did not incorporate those changes, so you lost points on that. And many of you are still having problems with APA citations and references, and for this it was a formal paper. So you should have had a separate page with your title page, and it should have had the title, the date, and the class. And then the body I didn't require abstract for this one. The body of the paper should have included at minimum your textbook citations. So you should have had in-text citations where you utilize the information from the book and cited that, either in your words, a direct quote, or whatever it might be. And I provided you with a video on how to properly cite and reference the textbook. So that should have been done, but many of you were missing in-text citations, and then you should have also had a separate reference page with your references. Now, I've said this in the grading rubric, but I'm going to say it again. A citation lets your reader know that you are utilizing someone else's information, writing, research, whatever it may be, to make your point. It just tells them that you're utilizing, so it gives them credit. It also lets your reader know that you've utilized their research. Then the corresponding reference below tells your reader where they can go to find out more information on that subject matter if they choose to learn more about it. So if you're still having problems with that, go to the Program Resources section of Blackboard, view the video, look at some of the PowerPoints and guidelines out there for APA, because you're going to have to know it for your program. If you're still having problems with it, give me a call or contact me, and I will try to walk you through it as much as possible. But you will need to know this, so make sure you get that. So that was it for week 2. Now week 3 coming up really quick. I got about 5 minutes. Your reading assignment for this week is 12, 13, and 14, which we're going to talk about lifestyle management, professionalism, and lifelong learning. Then you have your weekly discussion questions, and the week 3 discussion question says to describe how diet, physical activity, sleep, and preventive measures contribute to healthy living, and that is all included in your reading. And then feel free to list examples of healthy living in your own life. So take those 4 things and tell me how diet affects you, how you incorporate that or you don't incorporate it. Physical activity, sleep, and preventive measures. So I want you to tell me how they contribute to a healthy lifestyle, and then tell me how you personally incorporate or don't incorporate it into your life. And then the second response, read and review professionalism in chapter 13. In your own words, what does professionalism mean to you? In addition, list at least 3 examples of the following. So, for professional behaviors, in the textbook, there's several examples listed under the paragraph titled Professional Behaviors. Give me 3 examples from that paragraph. Then tell me in your own words what that means to you and how you plan on incorporating it into your professional life. Same thing with professional healthcare skills. There's a separate paragraph for that. And professional appearance, a separate paragraph for that. Pretty cut and dry. And again, if I respond to your post, please read it and then respond back if you're off track. And if you're on track, most of you know now that I will let you know that your post is spot on and no need to go further other than responding to your fellow students. Okay. And then you also have your week 3 quiz that's due, so make sure you get that. And then you have your OSHA assignment. Now the OSHA assignment, you have to score 70% or above to pass the class. So you can retake this as many times as you like until you have a score that you're happy with or above 70%. If you score 75 and you're not happy with that, you can take it again until you score the score that you would like to have. But either way, you have to have 70% or above to pass the class. Alright, so that's a look at last week's assignments. If you have any questions about those, please contact me for this week. It's your discussion questions, your OSHA assignment, and your quiz. Alright, well, have a good week, and I will see you next week.